Thank you, Alize, and thank you all for joining. And good morning, everyone. I'm Sébastien Laurenti. I'm currently in charge of unified collaboration and also video protection at Telindus for a couple of years now, and I'm very pleased to be your host for the next 30-minute sessions that we will have. And um, the focus of today is to talk about the new way of collaboration when it comes to Microsoft 365 and especially on Microsoft Teams. What we see today is that we when we speak to um, digital transformation, we speak about three main areas. Um, the first one is just a reflex. We think about our own experience as an employee of an organization. We have to collaborate with our colleagues, with our peers, our manager, perhaps our partners, customers, and so forth. So it's all about our own experience. However, digital transformation is not that all. It is also the way we integrate our building assets into our IT organizations. By assets, there are many things finally. You can consider just the display in a meeting room, but also the way you can file your work, the different devices, IoT sensors, etc., that would help you guide throughout the building. All those things make the building intelligent and also make sense as long as it is fully integrated into your end user workplace. But finally, digital transformation affects also the end client journey. That one that makes your company being special. That one that makes for the end client the really good reason why he will come to you to buy your product, to buy your software or services, whatever it is. The world has changed for now for more than a year ago. And what we see, like different figures that were shown by different public studies, is that if and actually those figures were true already even before the pandemic, but finally we spend a huge time on a daily basis to seek for information, to chase people, to make sure that we're working on the last version of a document, or make sure this document was actually sent and well received by your contacts. And the traditional way to make that turn is today the email. It represents roughly 30% of our daily workload to go over this type of channel to make our business true. It represents a lot of stress for all managers, all people in charge of something. Could be a product, could be a project, could be a department, could be the head of the organization, doesn't mind. At the end, there is so many data flowing around. There is so many things you need to catch up in a timely manner that those people in charge are always stressed by the fear to miss an important information. So how to get that secured? I've got an idea. Let's hire more people to handle more emails in the time. Uh, are we sure it is sustainable? Are we sure this is the only way we can address this? I don't think so. And I think that you, as you are listening to me, don't think so as well. This is one of the reasons why the collaboration platform rises and are more successful every day. The pandemic just made it accelerated. Um, as per Microsoft said, they have seen a digital transformation in equivalent for 2 years development in just 2 months. It's really impressive, but this trigger was the pandemic, that's for sure. But at the end, it was the clear journey that was written someday somehow. And this is all related to the digital transformation. Today, Microsoft says that they have registered 150 million users active on a daily basis on their platform. It sounds huge, but at the end, I strongly believe this is only the beginning. And this is true for different collaborating platforms. But finally, it just shows that we are moving to a new way of collaboration. And why? This is not only because we're working from a zero office environment, from office, from remote, or wherever you are. Therefore, you need an effective video conferencing platform, that's for sure, but that's not the only reason. You also need a multi-purpose platform, a platform from which you can engage via well-established channels, could be chat, could be voice, could be anything, but you expect also this platform to be interconnected, to be fully integrated into your business processes. And that makes sense for you to be your primary interface. This is the real purpose of Teams. If I set the interface at the stage, I would divide this application into four main areas. The first and perhaps the most important one is really the purpose of the teamwork. Next to that come naturally the phone service and the meeting along. And finally, digitalization is just the way we can make it further integrated into your working environment. So let's have a look. Hub for teamwork. Indeed, indeed. As an interface, Teams can provide me some channels are well known from different applications, also coming from Microsoft, like Link and later was Skype for Business, just an example. So the people know and have well accepted this way of integration. We can score the way we interact with other peers on different levels. As an example, email is something I will send and on which I obviously expect an answer, but not especially in a few seconds or in a few minutes like I would expect if I engage with someone of a chat. A phone obviously is purely real-time collaboration, so it's a different one. So for each channel, there is a specific expectation for the end user. So that one makes sense. And it makes sense to have a single interface that offers me all those channels at the same time. But perhaps one of the most important feature that is proposed by Teams and by Microsoft is the ability to upload documents and to offer co-edition on that, to manage the versioning and the document history so that every single collaborator of that document can make sure they're working actually on the last release of that document. And here's where the efficiency comes from. It's difficult to figure out until Teams is really deployed throughout the company and well adopted by the end user, how many hours was saved as opposed to the traditional way of working via emails and sharing files and accessing some file servers and stuff. But finally, with a good adoption program, if those people can have their teamwork being well organized by via teams, and teams could be my department, my products I'm working on, or a project on which I will create different channels. And by channels, I mean perhaps the technical one, perhaps the sales one, perhaps the financial one, perhaps that one that help me engage with external peers, could be partners, could be customers, whoever. And finally, if from that single application, I am easily able to schedule meetings, or because it is fully integrated with other Office 365 application like Planner, like SharePoint, like OneDrive. But let's think about again about Planner. I could ask the people about their preferred slots, and so that I can make this meeting happen without spending so many times as I know in the formal way of communication. That's where the efficiency comes again. So that's great. How to get there? There is a a lot of different cultures. In a single company, you have your own culture. So finally, you have also your ecosystem, and we have to deal with that. Our consultants and our experts can help you get there because we can help you find the appropriate tools. We can help you tailor the features that we will deploy and make sure that in the transition program we will put in place, all the features will be effectively deployed and will be actually used and adopted by the end user because it serves your own business. So this is uh, what we think Telindus can help you, Mr. Customers, by defining this journey. We will see at the end how it is articulated. Once you are done with this new way of collaboration, you just miss the capability to place and receive your phone calls. So this is exactly what it is. Phone service is your ability to have your well-known fixed voice being ported into a system that is plugged to your Teams environment and that you make you able to place and receive your phone calls. From that Teams application there, it's really easy to access your contacts, to see the history, and to have access on the management of your online so that the end user can manage himself the his own interface. He does no longer rely to an IT admin to ask him to make some call forward or to make sure that your line will be diverted to the right person because you will be having some days off. So how do we achieve this? We achieve this by plugging our SIP trunk to a conferencing platform, to your Teams environment, sorry, which is actually connected via a secure SIP trunk to your Teams environment. So this is way in a design that can be adapted, and we'll see that in a minute. However, to use voice, you need a device. You always need something that is seen more as an accessory, whereas in the past, the device was clearly seen as something that is essential in the user workplace. What is essential here is when I work from home with kids running around, for instance, I do need something that is suitable for me. What it is certainly not a desk phone, it's more headset, but that headset please should have some noise cancelling capabilities embedded there. However, in the office, and for some places where there is no desktop at proximity, I do need a regular desk phone with why not a loudspeaker because that place could be a meeting room or something external. I would easily plug into my laptop. So for different purpose, different reasons, there are now different devices that can be deployed. For these reasons, we work with different partners that are listed on the right-hand side. And uh, among those ones, certain propose nice features which help the people to consider the device as also a unit that help me check in. And this is particularly useful if I consider the office, which was designed for an agile and flexible environment, which comes in opposition to the health constraints that we all live due to COVID-19. So in the future, it is really interesting to see that. As a service provider, Telindus proposes also the way to connect your fixed voice to to your team's environment in different flavors. The way we will make this integration depends on your technical requirements we have to meet. Our consultant here again can help you out with this. So basically, shared environment is something which more relies on customers that don't want to have anything hosted on their premises. They don't want any single piece of infrastructure. And this is usually well adopted by small or mid-sized companies. However, some of us need to have a specific routing, digit manipulation and stuff being made on the infrastructure, or we need to integrate this service with the existing telephony infrastructure. And for this purpose, we can put in place a dedicated model, and by dedicated, that one can be hosted by Telindus, put in place at your premises, or even hosted in your Microsoft Azure environment. It all depends on the business case and the technical constraints. And here again, our consultant can help you out. On top of this service, there's traffic. And there is the possibility to port in your existing fixed numbers. So this is what we can do, because everything goes over IP. So like the song says, let's be happy together. So let's be happy as well. We, as an operator well established in Luxembourg, can offer mobile services, telecommunication services, but also fixed voice and fixed to mobile convergent services. We have a bunch of products that are well designed for small or mid or even large companies. On top of that, perhaps last but not least, do not forget that a high quality is also the insurance of a good adoption for the end user. When you go for a public cloud and obviously working from home, you just rely on your internet connection. So that's for sure you don't have full control on what's going on in terms of quality for internet. However, when you work from your office, we can put in place a Telindus Explore line with an add-on service that ensures you all the media to go across this line directly from your office to our data center where you have access to the public switch telephony network. So this aspect is also important to get a success for this real-time traffic. As mentioned before, you might need to integrate the existing telephony infrastructure or some pieces of your organization with this phone service. As an example, the DECT, I have a large installation deployed that covers my entire campus. Doesn't make sense to get this replaced. So you have obviously to choose to change it to something that is oriented to mobile, and perhaps who knows, in a few months 5G could help on that. Just again, engage with us and we can talk about that. But if in terms of investment does not make sense to be changed, then we should just connect that. The same applies for everything that is analog, or even your fax server. If you are a bank, fax are business critical. So you should make sure your fax machine are still connected via your ported numbers. And the same also for trading floor market or for your contact center, your service desk. For many reasons, you might not want all those things to be moved towards the Teams environment all at the same time. So we can offer the final design that makes you able to migrate at your pace, and therefore you keep control on the costs of the migration, the cost of your infrastructure. We make sure that the specific areas continue work in the same way until it is fully migrated. And finally, you can still just focus on the user experience. For specific areas, there are specific needs. For banks, for instance, that should comply to MiFID II regulation or even to country regulation, call recording is a must. For others, call recording is needed for quality assurance. For a long time, we know that, and we make sure we partnered with specific um, technologies to make sure we make that move less complex and even then more efficient than what it was before. So voice is one channel, and we can ensure that voice capture is done. That's for sure, and there is no problem with that. However, when you want to enable new channels, new way of collaboration. It's not only internal, it should be with your external peers as well. So voice should be captured, video, screen sharing, applications, chat, all those new channels with the external world should be captured and all centralized to make sure you are able to recreate the transaction from its initiation until the end when it comes to be a customer interaction. That's what we are able to do with Teams, with Variant especially, but we have some experience as well with other vendors. But with Variant, we have found there a really strong partner as they were the first one that were able to capture records from Microsoft Link, then Skype for Business, and later Microsoft Teams. Capturing is something, storage is something else. For this purpose, we can offer the storage on-premise, hosted, or even hosted in your Microsoft Azure environment. So please ask, and we'll be happy to work on that front. If I look at the meetings were used to be spaces where we meet and present stuff, slides, Excel sheet, what else, or brainstorm over a flip chart, for instance. In the future, and you will see that deeper in the next sessions, meetings will be hybrid, means you will get at least one or two parties being remote. For this purpose, video comes to be more and more critical. In terms of video systems, there are two different types. The first type is team certified. There are different technologies that, like Poly, that embeds the team's client into their device. It makes the story quite easy to enter a Teams meeting at this moment. However, you need also your environment to be able to communicate with the external world, or meaning in other words, you need the external party to be able to join your Teams meeting, even if they don't use Teams. So for this, the so-called CVI, standing for Cloud Video Interop, is there, and we can help you find the good technology and put that in place for you. On the other side, if you consider another technology like Cisco that is compatible with Teams throughout the Cisco WebEx cloud, it makes sense also to keep that investment, to keep a good user experience. Here again, our expertise can help you draw your business case to think about what would be the best design for your meeting rooms. And in terms of meeting rooms, this is not only the meeting rooms as such. We can speak about auditorium or about training rooms. All those elements are really important and should be covered by video in the future. Once video is put in place, it's good that they obviously are able to connect to Teams. It's even better if they are able to connect other well-established video conferencing platform like Cisco WebEx, like Zoom, like Google Meet. So you should make sure that your investment done to connect your Teams environment can also be done for all the different video conferencing journey that will have to rely on during the day. And this is where we can help you again. When it comes to digitalization, it's very interesting to see that Teams is not only an interface, but it's also a platform. What I mean by platform is that if we can build a service for my end customer, for instance. This is what we've done with Tango. They now enable their customer to book a meeting on site in an agency or a virtual meeting over video. They do that over the Tango website. They just choose the schedule and that's it. On the other side, the managers for the different uh, teams can manage the staff, date and hours, see the different meetings, if they are physical or virtual, and they can ensure it well suited within the existing process. What we have done is not a complete change of the process. We just improved it. And this is where you should think um, to be more successful with your own product and services, finally. Teams at this moment is not known by the end customer. They just know the Tango website and that's it. But the solution as such relies on Teams and booking application. You have other kind of example like approval flows. For instance, if you need a document or process to be validated, we can build that via Teams and other application like Power Automate. If you want to enable a new powerful search engine because you're promoting your digital heroes as part of your digital journey, you can build that also with Microsoft 365. Or if you're preparing the return to the office, you can also prepare something like desk reservation, parking slot reservation, and so forth. This can be done using different applications, among which Teams is always present. It all depends on your needs, but the possibilities are many. How we achieve that? Throughout the same way as it was discussed in the first session of today, the zero office. We create the strategy with you. We look at the asset that you have today, so that we think what would be the best transition way to move forward, and finally, what would be the target operating model, and what would be the life cycle for this model. So do not hesitate to engage with us and we can walk through this methodology or even just at least to the strategy one to help you define your strategy and the next step to move forward could be discussed later on. As a wrap up, bear in mind, please, that Telindus can help you to change and transform the way you're working, making sure the application will be well adopted by the end user because it is effective for the business. We make sure that every change stay in compliance with your regulation or your security rules. On top of that, as an operator, Telindus can enable all real-time services like calling or meeting, can provide you the effective devices or accessories you need in a timely manner. And we can make sure that everything that cannot be migrated right now will be via the value-added services. So we can stay in touch. Do not hesitate to contact me or contact your account manager. If you don't have one, you can also fill out the form on the Telindus website and you will be there. Thank you for today, and I wish you an excellent weekend.